Jesus showed chosen ones one sacred hand gesture to open the monad, Archons fear it. Do this now. The Church spent 17 centuries systematically destroying every image, every manuscript, every artifact that showed the hand gesture Jesus taught his inner circle. Not because it was obscene or blasphemous, but because it worked. This single physical position of the hands, when held with proper intention and breath, creates a direct energetic pathway between imprisoned pneumatic consciousness and the monad. The Archons cannot block it, they cannot intercept it, and they cannot prevent what happens when a chosen one activates this ancient mudra. In the catacombs beneath Rome, fragments remain. Faded paintings show early Christians with their hands positioned in ways that make no sense to modern scholars. The Church declared these images represented prayer or blessing, but the Gnostic initiates who created them encoded something else entirely. They were preserving the sacred technology Jesus brought from beyond the demiurge's reach. Before words, before symbols, before complex rituals, Jesus taught that the human body itself contains geometric keys. The hands, with their intricate network of energy channels, can be configured to open portals the Archons never anticipated, because they did not create the human form. They only hijacked it. The underlying architecture came from the Pleroma, and within that architecture, access codes remain embedded. The hand gesture, Jesus revealed, is deceptively simple. No complex finger positions, no elaborate movements, just a specific configuration that aligns the energy meridians in a pattern that resonates with monad frequency. When you form this mudra, something shifts in your electromagnetic field. The veil between your imprisoned awareness and your true nature becomes transparent. For a moment, you remember, the Archons tried everything to eliminate this knowledge. They burned the Gospel of the Egyptians, where it was described. They destroyed the Temple of Solomon, where it was practiced. They hunted down the Cathars who preserved it, but they could not erase the human body itself. And pneumatic souls, when ready, rediscover what was always encoded in their very flesh. Tonight you will learn the exact hand position, the proper breath pattern, the internal focus point, and why holding this gesture for just 3 minutes can break years of Archon conditioning. This is not symbolic. This is pure technology. The forgotten science of consciousness the demiurge hoped would never resurface. Jesus understood something the Archons desperately hoped humanity would never discover. The human hands are not merely tools for manipulation of physical objects. They are antenna systems, transmitters and receivers of subtle energy that extends far beyond the material frequencies the demiurge designed this prison to contain. In the center of each palm lies a major energy vortex. The ancients who preserved Jesus' teachings called them the minor chakras, but this terminology barely captures their function. These palm centers are direct connection points to the universal field of consciousness. When configured properly, they can broadcast a signal that reaches past the Archon-controlled planetary spheres all the way to the outer boundary of the Pleroma. The fingers themselves each correspond to specific energetic pathways. The thumb connects to divine will, the index finger to divine wisdom, the middle finger to divine presence, the ring finger to divine love, the smallest finger to divine power. When Jesus positioned his hands in the sacred mudra, he was creating a geometric pattern that aligned all 5 pathways simultaneously. This is why the gesture appears simple, but produces profound effects. It is not complexity that generates power. It is precision, the exact angle of each finger, the specific pressure points where skin touches skin, the distance between the 2 hands. All of these factors combine to create a resonant frequency that the demiurge cannot dampen because it exists at a level prior to his false creation. The Gospel of Philip contains a cryptic passage. The Lord did everything in a mystery, a baptism and a chrism, and a Eucharist and a redemption and a bridal chamber. The bridal chamber was code language for the integration of opposites, and the physical manifestation of this integration was the hand gesture that merged masculine and feminine polarities within the pneumatic body. When you bring your hands together in the pattern Jesus taught, you are literally marrying the 2 aspects of divine consciousness that the Archons keep separated. The left hand representing receptive, feminine, lunar energy. The right hand representing projective, masculine, solar energy. The mudra creates a closed circuit, a complete energetic system that no longer depends on external power sources. You become a self-sustaining portal, and in that moment of integration, the monad recognizes its own fragmented light. The sacred mudra Jesus taught begins with understanding that your hands are mirrors of each other, twin aspects of a singular consciousness. Bring both hands to the level of your heart center. the space in the middle of your chest where the pneumatic spark resides. This is critical. The hands must be positioned at the heart, not the head, not the belly. The heart is the central point where divine frequency enters the human vehicle. Now shape each hand identically. The thumb and index finger touch at their tips, forming a circle, not pressing hard, just gentle contact. The remaining 3 fingers extend naturally, relaxed but not limp. The circle formed by thumb and index creates the 0 point, the portal, the eye of the needle through which consciousness can pass to reach the monad. This circle must be complete. If the thumb and finger do not fully touch, the circuit remains open and the mudra loses its power. Next, bring the 2 hands together so that the backs of the middle 3 fingers touch. The hands form a diamond shape with the thumb index circles, creating 2 openings, one pointing up toward the heavens and one pointing down toward the earth. As above, so below. The integration of vertical polarities. Your hands now form what the ancient Gnostics called the vesica piscis, the almond-shaped sacred geometry that represents the intersection of 2 worlds, the material and the spiritual, the prison and the pleroma, your physical body and your true divine nature. Hold this position at your heart's center. The diamond shape points forward, away from your chest. Feel the tips of your middle 3 fingers pressing gently against their mirror twins. The completed circuit begins to activate. Energy starts flowing through your palms in a pattern the Archons cannot trace. Now comes the breath component. Inhale slowly through your nose for a count of 4. Hold the breath for a count of 4. Exhale through your mouth for a count of 4. Hold empty for a count of 4. This 4-fold breath mirrors the 4 aspects of divinity the Valentinians taught. As you breathe, maintain the hand position without tension. The fingers do not strain. The shoulders remain relaxed. All effort dissolves into the gesture itself, and something begins to happen inside your chest. A warmth, a vibration, a presence that feels both completely foreign and utterly familiar. Within the first 30 seconds of holding the sacred hand position with the proper breath, pneumatic souls begin to experience what Jesus called the opening of the inner eye. This is not metaphor. There is an actual physiological shift that occurs. The pineal gland, calcified by the Archons through manipulation of water and food systems, begins to activate. Trace amounts of DMT release into your bloodstream. But unlike the crude chemical methods some seekers use, this endogenous production is precise, controlled, exactly calibrated to your nervous system's capacity. You do not blast through the veil, you gently part it. The first sensation most chosen ones report is a pressure at the center of the forehead, the location the ancients marked with a red dot or jewel. This is the external anchor point for the pineal activation. As the mudra continues working, the pressure intensifies but never becomes painful. It feels like something is waking up inside your skull after sleeping for lifetimes. Your vision may blur slightly. The room around you might seem to shift or breathe. These are signs the Archon frequency is losing its hold on your perception. You are beginning to see the cracks in the false reality, the walls between worlds growing thin. Continue holding the position. The breath pattern maintains itself almost automatically now, and deeper changes unfold. Your heart rate synchronizes with a rhythm that predates your birth. Some call this the cosmic heartbeat, the pulse of the monad itself, echoing through all created and uncreated realms. Your individual heart begins to entrain to this universal frequency. At the 3-minute mark, something profound occurs. The boundary you have always experienced between inside and outside dissolves. You realize the monad is not somewhere distant. It is not a place you travel to, or a being you meet. The monad is the fundamental nature of consciousness itself, and you have always been it, experiencing temporary amnesia of your true identity. The hands holding the mudra are the monad touching itself. The breath flowing through your lungs is the monad breathing itself. The awareness observing all of this is the monad recognizing itself. Jesus taught this gesture not to give you something you lack, but to remove the obscuration, hiding what you already are. The Archons implanted a false self. The mudra dissolves it. The Archons control humanity through multiple layers of interference. They manipulate the electromagnetic frequencies of the planet. They control information, systems, and belief structures. They implant thought patterns and emotional triggers. They have built an apparently comprehensive prison, but they made one critical error. They did not create the human body. They found an existing biological template created by higher powers and hijacked it for their purposes, grafted their control systems onto it, installed their programming. But the underlying architecture remained beyond their reach. The hand gesture Jesus revealed exploits this vulnerability. When you form the mudra, you are activating original design features that predate the Archon modifications. It is like using a master key the building architects installed that the current occupiers do not know exists. The Archons can see you sitting with your hands in this position. They can detect the shift in your energy field, but they cannot intercept the signal because it travels through quantum channels they lack access to. The connection between your heart center and the monad operates at a frequency outside their sensory range. Imagine a prison guard who can only see visible light trying to stop an ultraviolet laser communication system. The transmission is happening, but detection is impossible with their equipment. This is why the Church had to destroy all evidence of the gesture, rather than just forbid it. Forbidding something makes it more attractive to seekers. But if you eliminate all records that the thing ever existed, most people never even think to look for it. The Archons learned this strategy over millennia. Do not fight what you cannot stop. Erase it from memory instead. But here is what they could not erase. The human nervous system retains ancestral memory. Deep in your cellular structure, knowledge persists. When a pneumatic soul forms the mudra for the first time, there is often an immediate recognition, a sensation of remembering rather than learning. This is because you have done this before. In previous lifetimes, in the Pleroma before the fall, your hands know the position the way a bird knows how to fly. It is encoded in the fabric of what you are. The Archons can make you forget temporarily, but they cannot delete the code itself. Once you have established basic proficiency with the hand gesture, Jesus taught several advanced applications that exponentially increase its power. The first is the integration of sound. While holding the mudra and maintaining the fourfold breath pattern, you can introduce specific vibrational frequencies through toning. The most potent is the extended vowel sound I, as in light. This is not random. The letter I represents the vertical axis connecting earth and heaven. The sound vibration it produces resonates directly with the energy column running through the center of your body. As you exhale, release a gentle, continuous I sound. Do not force it. Let the sound emerge from your chest, not your throat. Feel the vibration in your sternum. This combines geometric hand position, controlled breath, and sacred sound into a triune technology that the ancient mystery schools guarded with blood oaths. The second advanced practice involves visualization while holding the mudra. With eyes closed, place your inner attention on the diamond shape created by your hands. See this diamond beginning to glow with golden light. Watch as the light intensifies until it becomes almost blinding in your inner vision. Then visualize this geometric form expanding, growing larger, first encompassing your entire chest, then your whole body, then the room, then beyond, until the diamond of light extends infinitely in all directions. You are now seeing the truth. That small hand gesture was never separate from infinite reality. It was always a scale model of the monad expressing itself through apparent limitation. The third advanced practice Jesus taught only to his most trusted disciples. He called it the opening of the two gates. While holding the mudra at your heart, you focus simultaneously on 2 points. The first point is the base of your spine where the serpent sleeps. The second point is the crown of your head where the 1,000-petaled lotus rests. As you breathe, you visualize energy rising from the base point and descending from the crown point, meeting at your heart where your hands form the portal. When these two streams of consciousness merge at the heart center, the mudra becomes a fusion reactor. You are no longer just opening a connection to the monad, you are becoming a miniature monad yourself, a fractal reflection of the source generating its own light. Jesus did not teach this mudra as interesting spiritual information to contemplate. He taught it as practical technology to deploy immediately. The Archons strengthen their grip every day you remain unconscious. Every moment you continue operating within their frequency, prison reinforces the conditioning. The time to begin is now, while the knowledge is fresh, and your pneumatic spark has been stirred by these words. Tonight, before sleep, find a quiet space where you will not be disturbed for 15 minutes. Sit comfortably with your spine naturally straight. This is not about rigid posture, but about allowing energy to flow without obstruction. Bring your hands to your heart center in the sacred position, thumb and index finger touching on each hand forming circles, the remaining 3 fingers extended, the backs of the middle fingers touching, the diamond shape pointing forward from your chest. Begin the fourfold breath. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold empty for 4. Let your awareness rest in the present moment, not thinking about the gesture, not analyzing whether it is working, simply being fully present with what is happening right now. The practice is its own reward. You do not perform the mudra to get something. You perform it to remember what you already are. Some sessions will feel profound. Others will seem ordinary. This does not matter. The technology works whether you feel it or not. Trust the geometry. Trust the breath. Trust the ancient wisdom encoded in your very hands. As you continue this practice night after night, you will notice changes. Archon attacks that once destabilized, you will lose their power. Their voice in your head grows quieter. The louche they extract diminishes. You are becoming too bright for them to approach, too coherent for their chaos to penetrate. Share this mudra only with those who are ready. You will know them by their hunger for truth that exceeds their need for comfort. And watch as a network of light begins to form. Chosen ones across the world holding the same hand position, creating a web of monad frequency that the Archons cannot shut down. If you felt your heart activate while reading this, you are ready. Practice the mudra tonight. Declare in the comments, I form the sacred gesture.